for the OGL. This is quite loud. So what happened was I had to play as part of this group of players, which you will see. So disregard the top 4. This past Saturday at 11 in the morning my time, I had to play this. So I was up against Revolution, Soljo, Tak, all these big names. And then, you know, a couple of people that are actually probably around my skill level. But other than that, I was a little bit outmatched for sure. So now, I actually recorded it locally because I wanted to go through it just in case it was good or bad. Spoiler, it was kind of bad. There's me, hey. So let's turn this music down a little bit more, actually. 5 minutes. Okay. So. Oh, it's kind of laggy, not gonna lie. Do you see all that stuttering? Why is that so bad? Should I just pull this up on my YouTube channel? Maybe I should. It'll be less laggy because it'll be compressed, I think. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay, so basically, this is definitely the biggest match I've ever been in. So going into it, I was pretty nervous, but my goal was like top 6, I mean like just not get last. That was my main goal. Also, thanks for those of you who were actually there and cheered. That was pretty nice. But yeah, it was very nerve-wracking because, like, you know, the thing that really messes you up about this game is the fact that you see the number on the back of your car, because you can usually, in the last game, the mentality was always like, okay, if you're going to a match with a lot of skilled players, the best thing to do is just drive your pace, because when you're playing against people who you know are going to be better than you, if you see that they're ahead of you, you're always going to start pushing, and you're going to do lines that you haven't trained. And that is something I just like, well, you'll see. I mean, it became only a problem at the end where I started just really pegging, but like, there was a few moments where it's like, the pressure very clearly got to me, even if I didn't at the moment feel like I was under too much pressure. Anyway. Is this the start of the race? Yeah. Okay, so here's map 1. 5 maps, no point loss. This one is one of my best maps from the season entirely. And going into it, I felt pretty confident. I knew that my time was not enough to get like an insanely high time, but like, I knew I wouldn't get last as long as I drove like a normal pace for myself. But then, I mean, when you start seeing 13th on the back of your car, it becomes a little scary. No. But, yo, what's up, Pizzle? Yeah, PURGE. PURGE, picked me up for their team, for their lineup. Yeah, thank you. But, yeah, I mean, I always drive these internal cam. I was just chilling. When I saw the 10th, I was actually feeling pretty good. And I think this was the perfect... I'm sorry. But I saw the 10th, and that's like one of the most comforting positions you can see going into a match. And the reason is because if I was driving too well, I think I would have choked. And if I wasn't driving well enough, I would have started doing lines that I didn't see. So when I saw 10th, I was like, okay, here's probably what's going on, is everyone's pushing, right? But there's going to be people making mistakes. And that was what the assumption I was operating under. So for this map, I was completely calm and collected. And I think that definitely helped. The fact that I had the adrenaline going into this match, but I just didn't have any of the tilt going on. So, yeah, I ended up doing all right here. Almost hit that pole there. I don't, like, that's the other thing, is I've never actually made a mistake in this identity before in a match, so it's pretty good. But I also drive it kind of slow and safe. Yeah. So I go up to 9th here. I'm still just thinking like yeah, this is to be expected. Here's the thing though, is I felt like I could probably get 8th place every time. That was my expectation if I was playing well, is get 8th place on every map, plus or minus a few positions, and that would have been enough to get like yeah, I know, it was funny. That's why I have that in my bio is the American driver, because that always is what they say when they see. But yeah, it's this map was something else. Like this was completely separate from my performance on the rest. I go up to 8th here, and I start really thinking like, this is when I thought like, oh my god, I actually am driving a fine pace. Like this isn't terrible. Now, it's kind of looking back, yes and no. I mean, my pace was safe, which is not real. Like my safe driving, my consistent driving is not fast enough against these other players. So what ended up really happening is all these people who were pushing, and since all of these people are challenger players, you know they have to be risky players just because of how the qualifying system works. So what ends up happening is they're pushing way faster than me. They get out ahead of me in the beginning pretty much, and then they just start making mistakes. So I'm driving overall a little faster than everyone else, but in my pace, in my true raw pace, I was definitely slower than almost everyone on this map, I believe. Just based on what I saw looking back. There wasn't really much I could see, like, because they usually spectate at the front, which is to be expected for this type of match. But I think we're going into lap 6 here. We should be. No, we're on 5. I mean, nothing really happens, I don't think. At a certain point, I mean, nothing really happens. Okay. When did I go into 7th? I think, wait, I remember telling myself that I was going to check my HUD without actually looking at it, just so my future POV would be able to see it. Do I check it? No, I guess I don't. Okay. Well, you get seconds with a 14. Yeah, I mean, this I could have just done quite a bit more safing, and I probably could have gotten like 10th or something. I mean, you'll see later on, I could have easily gotten a couple more points if I just hadn't been so stupid. Yeah, I was going into this last lap and I knew, okay, I have gotten past the last ice slide, and that's the only real place I ever make mistakes here in this map. So you can see I'm kind of shaky here. I'm not really driving too risky. I'm actually driving really like kind of normal, but yeah, like that's way too far left. That was uneven. I was shaking pretty bad here, I think. But then I noticed this. Now here's the interesting thing is, look at these times. I would say first through fourth are good paces, and what is this? This is a 706 6.3. I'm like 99% sure that was a PB. I was pretty happy about that.
Okay.
And then
I could expect it. I mean, that's
so like look at those times in the back. All of those people, like everyone. I think first through 8th was like maybe small mistakes for like the really good players. Uda, this could have just been his normal pace. I don't even know. But anyone back here, like they very clearly just made a bunch of mistakes. So that's when I realized the pressure for this match was so high that like it was getting to pretty much everyone. Now, that would have been fine, except the pressure ends up getting to me. So I started, this was not good. This happened the last time, but for some reason with this map going into it, in my mind I was like, okay, my pace is slower than everyone else's, and that's 100% true. It was just slower than everyone else's. I mean, you'll see as it goes on, I was losing time on people, but I see this and I'm like, holy shit, I'm losing time so bad. And I try to go for like maximal exit speed here, and yeah, you can already see where that's going. I saw the 16th and I was like, well, great. I was 100% sure that I was the best possible position I could get is like 14th or 15th. And I think I ended up getting one of those. So you can see, hold on, I checked the interface here. Yeah, a full second behind 15th place. There's literally no way to recover that. If you're not 4th, you're the same as 5th to last, you may as well yeet. Yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. That's the thing about OGL, is it really is just about full risk unless you're in the step. But then once we have like the actual steps with points and stuff, I mean, there's probably gonna be no reason to risk next season in OGL. Because like, well, actually no, there's more of a reason to risk, I guess, but I mean, if I get Gold League matches, I'll just drive it the exact same way I've always been driving them. Because like, I usually tend to get in the top placements in Gold League matches, regardless of if other people lose points or not. Just depends on who's in the Gold League match with me. Yeah, it would be cool, but I think the fact that it's kind of a thing that anyone can get into, given a good week, is kind of cool as an idea. Because like, it keeps everyone, it really like sets a distinction between these are the top players, this is everyone else. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just driving here. I mean, at this point, I kind of wanted to just give up this match, but not the match, the map, and just be like, okay, mental reset. But I was like, okay, I could get like a few points here, and honestly, looking at how close things are, it's best to just get the points. Move back down to 15th because the person who made a mistake and fell behind me just had a faster pace than I did. Are we done here? No, we're not. There's not much else to say. I mean, I was in a race against Dark here, and I looked and I saw that there was no one else, so I was like, okay, well, nothing to really safe or... Wait, hold on, someone made a mistake. Because I move up to 13th. I think I go back to 14th, though. OGL would be playing to get into challengers. You could still have a challenger OGL. Yeah, I guess. So you mean like, if you place high enough in a previous season trying to qualify for challenger OGL, you become a player who's a part of the official challenger, like, set for that season? That could be kind of cool. But once again, you'd probably get people who qualify in the season and next season they get into challenger and hey, they don't have as much time to play. I mean, like, we see that a lot with OGL, where there are just some people who like miss one day and they're like, all right, I'm not playing. But that could be remedied, like the having to show up all 6 weeks. Like, you could definitely fix that by having a challenger OGL, because if you miss 1 week, it's like, hey, you can still get high points. Kind of like how Carl Jr. in like the first official TMGL season, he only showed up like 3 steps out of 6 and still won or something. But yeah, okay. Wosile, Dark, Revolution. No surprise here. Wosile did much worse on this match than I thought he would. I think he was just nervous or pushing way too hard.
Good performance on that map.
Because I mean, in order to break into the top 4 here, you really did have to push. So here was the standing overall, and I saw this, and I was like, okay. Aside from Grenady, this is still quite close. Like, anyone could take, any person here could move up into 2nd place. Grenady basically solidified his spot, because I mean, you'd have had to have made plenty of extra mistakes, but yeah, that was when I realized, okay, this is more of a fight for top 2 through 4 rather than first. Even though I think Grenady, he might not have won this step, I don't think.
Also, Grenady is convincingly.
People at the top have to peak every week just to get a chance instead of having a guaranteed position. Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to each one. The fact of it being that you have to qualify every week does make it more set in stone that like only the most qualified people for that given week will make it into the top 16. Because like there were players like Dionysos who qualified the first week and then never showed up again.
So 2nd through 4th.
Legu was like the same way or something. There's also Hugo and Coco, like just people who like played half of it and then just stopped. That happens quite frequently. So this map, this one's really sad. So my pace on this map was not too bad actually, as you'll see. I mean, non-competitive people filter themselves out. Yeah, I guess. That's true. Well, you know, I think the system needs an overhaul, but I don't know in what way. The points you need to qualify need to be changed a little bit, though, because it kind of sucks. But anyway, so I was moving down. I went to 12th, then 8th, so I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm driving with the pack, or a pack at least. Region-specific TMGL. I mean, the game isn't big enough for region-specific yet, really. At least not, like, for Nadeo to, like, go for region-specific. I think that's gonna be the sub-community's responsibilities for making those events. But yeah, I was in 7th at this point going into lap 2, and I was, like, actually really... I was realizing here, like, okay, I'm pretty confident that I can do okay on this map. And, you know, I did do okay. I moved down to 9th for whatever reason. I guess I just had, like, a shitty section there, I don't know. I moved to 12th because my jump is just sometimes bad. I'm not really great at that jump. But yeah, it was a pretty close fight here for a little while. I moved to 11th, 10th. Where are we? What lap are we on? Okay, we're all good. Yep. Speed through there was kind of bad. Where can I see what lap we're on? Come on. Ah, he showed it there for a second. Too quick though. I always would get some like lift off there that kind of screwed me over. Basically my pace was just like okay on most of these maps after the second map. But you know, I should have realized that like I could have gotten a much better position if I had just relaxed a little bit and just played quite casually. Oh wait, hold on. Well, we'll just skip because I think we're coming up on... Okay, hold on. This might be it. Yeah, okay. So, if any of you are watching, you might remember that I go down from 7th to 10th place here. And do you want to know what happened? So, right here you see 3.33 seconds up on first place. That's not awful, actually. Given the amount of mistakes I made, like, just small mistakes, those add up, and I could have done much better. But regardless, let's say, okay, I'm in 7th place right now. And 12th place, or 11th place is 12 seconds down, so that's a 9-second barrier. But other than that, 0.4, 1 second, 2 seconds. I'm perfectly fine, right? But, okay. But anyway, I get into this situation, and just watch what happens. Oh, wait. Did you catch what I said there? Did you catch what I said there? Oh, wait. What's up, Beckley? So I say, oh, wait. And do you want to know why I said that? Because even though I had the fucking interface on for like a whole 10 seconds, something in my mind saw that 5 and was just like, this is the last lap. And I just drive through. I'm just like, yep. And then I notice right there, and I'm like, wait a fucking second. I try to turn to recover it. Oh, wait. No, it's over. Luckily, the respawn was fine. And I quickly recovered,
so
but like...
My mind just completely went like fucking pure blank.
Yeah. That was so bad.
Like, I was literally just not even thinking about
Yeah, I
anything
wasn't thinking.
there.
I was just sitting there just like, yep.
Oh my God.
Yep, 5 maps, 5 laps. I know, I should have listened to the coach's tips. You were telling me, hey, there's another lap, and I just was sitting there and I was thinking, nope, never done. But yeah, we get to this point, and let's see. Plus 91. Plus 4.1 seconds. We were at plus 3.3. I probably, based on the averages, wouldn't have lost 7, or I wouldn't have lost an extra 0.7 seconds, so I would have gotten 7th there.
I'm so stupid.
Otak, Grenadian, and Uda would have been an extra
wrong?
point below me, so instead of getting 4 points, I would have gotten the amount that Otak got, which is 6 points. That's an extra 2 points, take away a couple from whomever. It wouldn't have done anything. In the end, I think it would have gained me like 1 or 2 positions.
That was just idiotic, like.
But yeah, that was like when I realized like my brain is fried on this match. I'm not doing well. And yeah. But we came to this map and I was feeling pretty confident. Except for the fact that this is lap 1 and I was in 15th again. And for some reason this always happens. Would it move me to 13th overall? Yeah, probably. So really no big difference. But I mean, at the end of the day, you want to drive your best match, right? You know, you want to put in your best foot forward, and something like that is just so like easy to avoid. You stop playing with 2 laps left. Nice grip. Put the best wheel forward, yeah, I guess. Terrible turnaround. Yeah, this, I mean, my focus was just gone at this point. Yeah, that's the problem, is if you're outpaced, you have a really bad mental going into a match. Like, you'll tend to do worse if you feel like you're trying to catch up to people rather than keeping people behind you. Or like, well, it's different. You kind of want to just be driving to see how fast you can get done And the problem is seeing. Okay, well, let's see. What was the distribution here? Okay. That is still really close. Like, I'm within 2 seconds, which that means I'm losing a second per lap, but at the same time, I was like looking at this and I was like, okay, I can still do pretty well. I don't think anything major happens here that I fuck up. But, yeah, it was kind of a close battle. Yeah, true, Crip. That was a good map for the end of the match for you. That's a pretty good gold placement. That was a good opportunity for you. But yeah, also the thing is this map selection was pretty good for me. And a problem I had is like I've never played against any of these people because I never got into Challenger. Like, I'd placed against Snow and lost to him in gold. I'd placed against Carl and lost to him in gold. So the only experience I had with this was just surviving against a bunch of players. The survival maps like last season, yeah, those are better suited for a lot of people who are very consistent but not fast. So like, yeah, this season was much more brutal because of how simple a lot of the identities were, in that like you could do it either a safe way or a risky way, and a lot of the top players ended up doing risky way every time. So, you know, qualification was like basically impossible for me to get Challenger. Next season, obviously, I really need to try to get Challenger, because it's definitely a mental game when you come into this match and you've only been in Challenger 0 times. So it really fucks with you knowing like, okay, I am kind of the underdog here and I'm expected to be the slowest here. So you and I mean, like, technically I was the slowest here in this match because if I never made Challenger, I had to have been slower than all these people who were able to make Challenger at least once, as far as like my risk pace goes. But anyway, I was in 11th. This was not like the fastest. This was, I was just driving it normally. I don't know what time I got at the end. Yeah, that's the thing too, is like when you're a consistent player, you tend to drive around your PB as like you're consistent. Where are we at here? Okay. 12th place, plus 6 seconds. A couple people trailing me and one person right ahead of me. So, yeah. At this point I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna get 10th if I push, because like, let's expect one person to make a mistake and I could beat NR right in front of me. And I ended up going down to 13th. That was annoying. I go, whatever. It says 13th still. So here's what happens. You see how far I enter this? And it didn't go terribly, but like my car is headed that way. So I'm really trying to overcorrect here. I slow down, but I also launch off of here, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let me just get a drift. I do. Problem is I have a lot of speed still, so I lift off. I'm still heading this way, and I'm like, okay, cool. Almost make it. But then this happens. So I only ended up losing like half of a second, which means I didn't lose a spot and I also didn't gain a spot. So I think that literally didn't do anything. Except for the fact, actually, I was in 13th going into that checkpoint. Or no, does it say 12th? It says 12th. Okay, so going into the last checkpoint, I was in 12th. But before the very beginning of the identity, I was in 13th. So yeah, then that's the end of map 4. And I see that I'm at 17 points. And I realize it's impossible to catch up. Just drive a good last map, get it over with. You know, don't come in last place. And yeah, that was just the mentality at this point. That's not a great mentality to have, where it's just like, oh, whatever, fuck it, because they'll always just drive terribly when you don't have any motivation.
Like, literally 0%.
Also, an interesting thing here is the fact that Carl was only 5 points ahead of Snow. So Carl, Snow, Otak, all in a danger zone here. Worker was pretty much safe. Grenady, 100% safe. I mean, the best that could happen is Snow ties and gets the best lap. Grenady doesn't finish. Or he comes in last, but yeah. Things were almost set in stone here except for Carl. Carl was the only one who was in the danger zone. And you know, as we saw, that ended up being pretty bad for him.
He'd spot.
So, I realize, yes, I'm at the back of the pack again. What a great feeling. It's like, I was not used to this, right? Because in the Gold League matches, I would always, after a couple of checkpoints, be in first or second. That was it. That was it. Like, no questions asked. And then you come in here and it's like, okay, my pace is literally the slowest one here. So, yeah, like, you're driving your own lines, but you're like, okay, I mean, I gotta do something here to try to go faster, right? But I didn't do that yet. You know, I was like, whatever, drive your pace, drive your lines. And it actually, like, I'm glad I did the identity practice, because, like, as you'll see here, not fast, but I mean, it worked. Worst of the best and best of the worst. Yeah, that's true. It's technically better, but I don't know if it feels better, you know? I mean, getting first of Gold League is, definitely feels better than if, like, every week I was qualifying in Challenger but got, like, 16th. It's like, it's kind of a different mentality. And, you kind of want to feel like you're at least driving fine. But, yeah. So here's my technique going into it. Press brake as soon as you enter this block. Turn left. Then start drifting as soon as you enter this block. And, yeah, that sets you up perfectly. And I move up to 10th. And then 8th. So then I realized, okay, either A, people fucked it up, or B, my identity was just faster. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Lentillion. But, like... yeah. Going into this map, the mentality wasn't great. I was just vibing. You don't want to be relaxed when you're going into a match. You're not going to drive well at all. You need to be in the zone, of course. Yeah. But, it's... Then I think I fucked this up. Yeah, I let off too soon. You can see, holding brake, I do the timing right, literally set up perfectly. For some reason, I stop holding brake right there. Like, why? Like, literally why? And then that looks okay until you realize, yep, and yep, and yep. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, you know. And the thing that pissed me off is, look at this. Look at that, I'm still in 10th place.
That's so... bad.
Yeah, you hear me. I said 10th, that's so bad, but what I really meant was 10th, that's terrible for everyone else.
Bad.
This was such a terrible map for everyone. Look at that. Top 7 were the only people who didn't make a mistake. I easily could have been in 7th place or 8th place right here. Easily. I could have stayed in 8th place this whole fucking time. Just the whole race. Just don't make a mistake on the identity. Yeah, I held brake the whole way up because that put me in the right gear to where I wouldn't slide out. Yeah, of course I say Ben instead of Bean because it isn't a bean, it's Ben. I ended up messing up this slalom as well at some point. Once again, the identity was rough, but I made it, I survived it, and I came up into 7th, and I was like, God damn, dude. It would have been so easy to get like a top 7 here.
But I hadn't made it.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, top 6 is the only people who didn't make a mistake in the identity. It's so stupid.
Top 4, top 5. Literally everyone's choking on this map.
Yeah, but that only applies to British people. Americans pronounce everything the right way. I touched the dirt wall there. I don't know why that always happens to me on dirt. I miscalculate on new dirt for some reason. What else happens here? I mean, it's just going normally at this point. It's just like your normal shit fest. I'm in 9th, even with this awful performance. I definitely fail this one. I let go of brake for some reason. Bad recovery. I'm in 10th place. Still in 10th place. Still in 10th. Like, when I saw that, I was so disheartened because I was like
2 or 3 times now.
I had such a bad pace. And yeah, still 10th. That's just annoying when you realize, like, yeah, top 6 are the only people who didn't make a mistake. It's so stupid. But yeah. We're missing something. This is... Alright, whatever. We'll continue that music. We're almost done here. Yeah, I mean, Fegley, honestly, if you do a safe line, you shouldn't even slide out on this identity. This happened for whatever reason. I don't know why.
What the fuck? I've never done that before.
Yeah, slow, terrible. I go down to 14th. I'm really pissed off at this point.
Fuck.
Down to 15th place. Just like the worst performance. I'm 18 seconds down.
I'm driving so fucking terrible.
I think I get the identity here. Because like at this point I had no pressure, so of course I could do the identity. Still at 6 people who haven't failed the identity. And we're at the end. At this point, I'm just like, please let me fucking finish. Let's just get this over with. And on a map that I could have had a much better placement on, I end up getting 14th. What a meme. And yeah, 21 seconds. In the end, only 5 people ended up not making a mistake. Like... It's like every person who was not even close to the top at this point just had a mentally, they were out. They just didn't care at this point. Neither did I, really. I mean, like, I wanted to do better, but, you know. And in the end, let's look, what was the final placement here? So let's suppose that I didn't mistake the wrong map. That's plus 2 points. I move up to 13th with 21 points. Fuck you, Crip. You suck. You're great though, Ellie. Love you. And what happened in reversing that didn't do anything. But yeah, if I did better on this map, if I just driven my pace, I would have, like, okay, what time did they have? I was able to consistently drive 622s to 623s in practice. Where would that put me? 6th place?
Oh,
and I would have gotten like, yeah, 7 points.
And Jean Rene, so 4.
Yeah, so there was a lot more I could have done. It was kind of a terrible performance by me. Somehow it didn't come in last. I came in 14th. The only thing really saving me there was map number 1. But yeah, overall, just awful.